Welcome, everybody, to the Fall Line with KS and Company. I'm Dave Capron, and I'm here with my co-host, Angelo Ross. And before we get rolling, we absolutely want to thank the supporters and friends of the podcast. Angelo, I think this is year 5 with Blizzard Technica helping us out, which is super awesome with that group there, helping us push some podcasts out and supporting the team. We also have Nick Blaylock from Nick's Boot Fitting. Nick's been on, I think, for 5 years now, so that's pretty cool. And we still have our crew from Rollerblade keeping us going too.
What is the 50-year anniversary gift? It's PTEX, isn't it?
PTEX would be good. We might need it if we don't get cold soon. Definitely need that. I'm up in New Hampshire. Angelo's down in Southwest PA, and we have an absolutely amazing guest, someone we've wanted for a while and just needed to reach out. And this is Karen Dalury, who is one of our Telemark examiners. She's a yoga expert, now retired from her yoga studios. She'll have to tell us about, and just all around great person, friend, and a super colleague that I've been able to work with in the Telemark team for quite a while. I think it's more than a decade now, but we'll find that out as we start chatting. But welcome, Karen.
It's great to be here. I love what you guys are doing.
Yeah. Angelo, what's going on? Anything first to say before we roll?
Just getting ready for the season. Yeah. It's today. We're recording on the 24th of October, and we arrive in Summit County on the 5th of November for national team training, fall national team training. And then that rolls right into combined Rocky Mountain, Intermountain training. But every region sends a lot of ed staff and examiners to that first fall training of the year. So we'll go straight through. I'll be with Alpine Sunday through Tuesday, and then kids Wednesday, and then the tele crew Thursday, Friday. Looking forward to that. Other than that, just charging ahead.
Yeah. I got through some of my training last night, which was pretty cool. I don't know if Karen started that. We have our what do you call it, Angelo? I had to find out the word. What's the training?
We were allotted, we being ed staffs across the country, we're allotted 3 hours of training before we all arrive on snow together. That starts November into December. But 3 hours of online. The first 2 hours are asynchronous, meaning that it's all pre-recorded stuff and courses, so you can complete that at your leisure. And the last couple of years, we'd have to sign on. You'll remember we all had to sign on for calls that were hosted at particular times. It's hard to catch everybody, so it made more sense to do 2 hours asynchronous with certain topics, and then of those topics, you all can select the one that you want to learn more about. We'll do 1 hour live face-to-face webinar where you can come to a specific breakout room and ask questions about the topic and whatnot. That's how we threw it down this year, and getting feedback now seems to be mostly well received.
Yeah, it's cool. I like that. On my own time, I can hit pause and walk away. Pretty cool. Go get another drink. Right. But we are here with Karen Dalury, one of our ed staff members here in the East, and we love to start the podcast when we have someone that's been on the podcast just as the first time to ask you how you started skiing, how old you were, where was it? Was it with friends? Do you even remember the experience? Some are like, I was too young, but what was it like the first time on skis?
Yeah, pretty cool. I do remember the first time I skied. I think I was 5.
Yeah.
And my dad took myself and my brother out, who was a year older than me. We were in the Berkshires, Massachusetts, a little ski area that Kathy Brennan grew up skiing at, called Blanford, Mass. So I remember him holding me between his legs and skiing down this trail called Practice Slope. You know, we just walked up and skied down. The mountain wasn't open for some reason at that time. Or maybe it was just a day. They were only open on weekends, so maybe it was a midweek day or something like that. But anyway, that was really fun. And I remember my brother and I had to share quick. So he'd do a run or two, I'd do a run or two, back and forth. We kept switching. And these were wooden skis with painted on bottoms. Like every year you paint the bottoms to make them go faster. And little leather boots with square toes, you know, with the buckle, the little like belt buckle across the strap. So that was pretty funny. So that's how I started. But I didn't really ski a lot until we were about 10. And then we moved to the Berkshires, and we moved right up that road from that little ski area, so that was really cool. And as a matter of fact, we could put our skis on if we had good snow and ski down through the fields, across the stream, and about a mile and a half down a class 3 road to get to the ski area. So that was pretty cool.
And you've been on the Telemark team for a while. I mean, it's been more than 10 years that we've been on the team together. How long have you been on?
Oh, I have no idea. I got to think back. When I always think back to when my daughter graduated from high school, and that was 2000. Yeah. So 2 more years, like 5 years later, that's when I took up tele skiing after that. And yeah. And so it's been, goodness, at least 15 years.
Yeah. Yeah. And that's what I wanted to ask you, because you do both disciplines. I know you started in alpine, and when did you start? You started tele after your daughter. What was that, like middle 2000s, 2004, 5, somewhere in there?
Yeah, I did have a few tries, stabs at it, in the Rocky Mountains when I was, teaching at a Vail, my first teaching job. And my roommate was Wayne Hansen, who was, used to be on the national team for cross country, and I don't think they had Telemark in it was Nordic. And so he used to take us out and teach us a little bit, but I never really figured it out. And then, about 2000, I was still coaching. I was coaching alpine skiing. And, after 2 or 3 more years of that, I started, getting a little tired of all the traveling and everything that I had to do. So I said, I'll do something new. I'll learn how to tele. And it was good because it slowed me down a little bit, shape skis, go fast. Yeah. So tele slowed me down, and that was good. I pretty much stopped at it for a few years until I started taking lessons with you all.
Yeah.
Definitely sucked. I would try to like make an angle and hope for the best, That's what I did. You know how.
So was that your first lessons, some of the PSA events in the tele world?
My first lessons were actually with Jim Passy at Pico. He had a thing going there. Yeah. One of our examiners. And he had a little group lessons going on there. I took a few with him. I still suck. But then I saw Mickey at Tillicum one day leading a group. I'm like, what is this? They have PSIA Telemark? Oh my God, this is so cool, So I had to do that. So I went to like tons and tons and tons of clinics, as you know, in just several years. Yeah.
Angela, if she sucks, we must really suck.
There's no question about that.
Just try to suck less.
Something else I suck at that we can talk about, Karen, that you do very well is paddleboarding. So we know that you're into stand-up paddle, but wasn't that a great segue? Pro all the way.
I get that as well.
I got people lined up out the door here asking me to do podcasts professionally for them. You should see them. Let's talk about stand-up paddleboarding, because we know you do it and love it. And so what's your approach? Why do you like it? How do you go about it?
Like it. I kind of need water in my life. I need water in my life. It makes me feel good. It makes me relaxed. Clears my head. So there's one thing, and I goes into kayaking and all that. And then, when I saw that you could do yoga, stand-up paddleboard, I'm like, well, geez, that sounds great, So off I went. I bought my first board and started teaching. Got my ACA level 2 and started teaching people how to paddleboard, and did go on the paddleboard a couple times a week lessons, and that was really fun. But it's like anything, you keep upgrading, you're getting better and better, and the boards get narrower and narrower, longer and longer, and faster. Mm-hmm. Next thing you know, you're racing. So it's fun.
Are you more lakes and standing water or rivers? Like, what's your favorite?
Yeah, so I live in central Vermont in Killington, and there's a lot of small lakes around. So there's I call it my lake. It's just down the road. It's like 3 miles away, and I can get there in 15 minutes. It's nice. Small water though. So other things we do is a little bit bigger lakes, and then there's Lake Champlain, which is about an hour and a half away. That can be rough, but it can be really fun. Connecticut River is a pretty fun place to paddle around here. I love going to the ocean, but I just don't get there very often, a couple times a year.
So there's a little competitive edge, and you're not just stand up paddleboarding. You got into some competitions. Tell us a little about the competitions, and I think you've won a few of your age classes. I've seen some posts on Facebook.
Yeah, I do pretty well at my age, but I also do pretty well overall. So, sport,
So take that, Dave.
I knew it was coming because she was putting up some of the numbers and like where she finished overall. And I'm like, she's got to tell me she's got that competitive edge. It's not just in my age group, Capron. Meaning she could absolutely crush me, which absolutely is. It's like, oh my God, that's awesome. But yeah, you've been doing quite a few. Anyway, what's it like? Like, how long are they? I mean, I don't know much about the stand-up paddle. I don't know how long they are. They're different lengths and heats, or
all that. There's really like 4 different types of paddleboard races. There's sprints, short, fast, all out. Sometimes with a buoy turn, sometimes with not without, and heats, and those are elimination heats. So those are really fun. And then there's distance, which is probably anywhere from 5 to 9 miles. So you're looking at an hour to, depending on who you are, 2 hours. And then there's something called technical, which is maybe a loop of about 1.5 miles or something like that, and you might repeat it 3 times. Lots of turns, lots of technical moves and stuff like that. Sometimes you even have to go onto the beach and pick up your board and run up out of the buoy and jump back in the water and do it again like 3 times. And then the other one is like an ultra, like a marathon. It's not for me. But I like those.
So how many? I can see a bunch of skis behind you there. How many paddle boards do you have? Like what's your paddleboard quiver like?
Yeah, it's not what you'd think. At the moment, I only have one, but I do upgrade them annually, if not biannually, if not annually. Pretty much settled in on a size that I can handle. You want to go narrow as you can, but you don't want to be falling off all the time, right? So you got to find loops for your skill and your size and all of that. So I've settled into, at this point, like a 23-inch wide, 14-foot board, and kind of an all-water board right now. So I'm really happy with my latest friend.
Is that a board? It's narrower than what someone might start on. I'm assuming. So can you do yoga on a board that narrow, or do you take something wider?
Or dog, cobra, not much. Those kind of boards, like, you're really not made for standing still. It's like a race ski, and you're going to be. Yeah, you got to be moving.
Yeah.
So, a typical starter board or all-around board is more of a surfboard shape, not long and skinny with a pointy nose. And they are anywhere from 30 to 35 inches wide. So that's pretty narrow. It's just wide enough for your feet and little edges. Takes a little getting used to, but you get better. You got to be mindful of your, let's go to the fundamentals here. You have to be very mindful of your foot pressure.
Right on.
Get too much on one foot, you're just going off.
Right. Yeah, I can do. I'm pretty good at that piece of paddleboarding. Yeah, like putting too much pressure on one foot.
You're good at that, yeah.
I'm good at that, yeah. Let's talk about yoga. How long have you done it? How'd you get involved? How do you use it now after the years of development and practice?
Yeah, so how did I get into it? I started in college. I got interested in, I took a course called Eastern Religions. That's pretty cool. So I really, unlike most people, I got into yoga for more the spiritual aspect of it than the physical practice. Then over the years, my back started hurting and this and that. So I got more into the physical practice of it and studied all kinds of yogas and all kinds of places with all kinds of people, and have really eventually zeroed in on a method, if you will, that I really enjoyed. And that's a very alignment-based style of yoga. Worked for me because I'm really into bodies and how they work. And it helped my back a lot, and I studied a lot, and I enjoyed teaching. Turns out, so all I do is teach. I teach this, I teach that, I teach everything currently. So that was a good thing. And then eventually, my jobs led me to making a career out of it. Right now, I would say I don't love it as much as I used to. I appreciate its value, and I still practice, but not like I used to, not regularly. I have sort of like taken the best of all the worlds, little Pilates, little yoga, little weightlifting, a little of this and that, and mobility and core, and I put it all together. And fortunately, I know how to do that from my background. So that's more what I do now.
So there's a bunch of, as you're saying, there's a bunch of different types of yoga. Like when I looked into it when we were going to chat, I'm like, wow, I knew there was different types, but I didn't realize how many. And some, like you said, you were very spiritual, like you started, and some are like that, and some are more pose oriented. Some are like power oriented. When somebody starts, like, should they look for a certain one to not make it so difficult? I can see, I know Angela's into this a little bit. He got into it during COVID, and I'm kind of like, man, I don't know. You've done some with us. I know a few trainings years ago you did with the team. And I remember John Doan and I going, oh my God, if we do too much of this, we're going to be so tired. We can't tally today. Karen, go easy on us. But like, how does somebody get started? Because there's so many types. Like, where would they start to figure out what they'd want to do first if they were going somewhere?
Yeah, it's tricky. You don't know. Most people will start, maybe go to the health club and there's somebody teaching yoga there. So you don't know what you're going to get. It could be anything. And I've done this too. The intense power yoga, with a super hot yoga, really mellow, super slow, and everything in between. And then some styles are like, it's like so anal, it's ridiculous. So, it really kind of depends on what you're looking for and what's bringing you to it. Are you coming because your back hurts? Are you going because you need to relax? Are you going? Why are you going? And honestly, I gotta say, the best yoga is the one that you do,
Mm-hmm.
whatever you like.
Yeah, because that was what I was going to lead into was, what should somebody that's a, avid skier, because you had your studio for, I think, almost 30 years over by Killington, right? Before you finished up this year. And when people did that, like, is it the combination that's the best for some of the individuals that are going for skiing? Because I know that's one of your big sports is skiing. It has been for a long time. And right there near Killington, I'm just curious as to, what would somebody who wants to use yoga for skiing? Is it a combination or one or the other?
Yeah. Generally, I would say that it's tough because it kind of depends on what your life is like. If you have a sedentary job, you sit around all day, you might be better off going for a more active style, vinyasa or power, something like that. And you get a little exercise at the same time and build some core strength. Are you just really stiff? Maybe the hot yoga is for you. Are you, do you have injuries, knees, back, this and that? You want to go with a more of an alignment-based style, like a iron on or something like that. There's a lot out there. So it really just depends. But, the standing poses are great for mobility, learning how to move. And you think about skiing, like, okay, so you've got to separate your upper body and your lower body. Like, how can I turn my legs without turning my hips? Blah, blah, blah. So, but the standing poses are great for that. You're doing like a warrior two, and you got to bend your front knee to a square with your back leg straight, but you don't want your pelvis to tip this way, or you don't want your spine to do one of these things, So those are the really good for skiers, I would say. A lot of the lying down and seated stuff can get a little funky and a little silly, really. And like we overemphasize flexibility when we really don't need so much of that, do we? We just need functional mobility, right? And integration and stability. So you got to be careful with too much stretchy stuff.
No. Yeah. What were you into, Angelo?
I think I really got introduced to it around the mid 90s. My guy I grew up with, Ryan Beneke, I've known my whole life. We started to rock climb quite a bit from around like 95 to 98. And he was doing yoga at the time at a studio in Pittsburgh and kind of showed me some stretches that helped us climb. And so I dabbled with it from then on. But then during COVID, I was like everybody else, was looking for something to do. And I was, at home, I have a ramp in the backyard. I had a little mountain bike track in the backyard, and I would trail run or road run. So I was doing all this activity, and then I'd come in here and sit and do Zoom work, because that's when we all started to do Zoom work. And so I'd go from really active and kind of brutal, like the things I do are kind of hard on the body, and then I'd sit. So I'm getting stiff and sore, and I'm like, well, I'll put two and two together. And I did an online 200-hour certification course through a place in, I think it's in Massachusetts, called AAASI Wellness Center. It was an online course that I went through. It was pretty intensive, and it culminates in you gather people and you do an hour class and you film it and you send it in and it gets critiqued. Well, I had to do that on Zoom. I had my family here, but then I had some people on Zoom doing it too. So fully leveraged the Zoom thing and got my certificate. So that was Hatha yoga, which is it was just the general basic yoga that you would imagine. It wasn't in a hot room. It wasn't intense or particularly slow or anything like that. And then, it's evolved for me since then. Like Karen said, you find things that work for your lifestyle, things that work for what you need. And so I call mine right now, I just call it necessity yoga. So it's like where I'm sore. And when I don't go to many classes. I don't particularly like the way they're taught. I feel like they're too fast. And I kind of half jokingly call it consumerism yoga or capitalism yoga, because it's like the whole point is to have a new mat and a matching water bottle. And it's just not my scene. It's not to disparage any of that, but it's just not my scene. So I do it on the kitchen floor here with the dogs and my roller and just really what I need. I was really, when you mentioned over stretching, Karen, that piqued my ears up, because I'm hopefully at the tail end of recovering from a pretty harsh summer injury wise. I had a foot sprain that was debilitating, and then ended up in a pretty bad car accident in July that really jacked my back up. So I'm kind of at the tail end of that, but it's been a lot of chiropractic, a lot of acupuncture, a lot of physical therapy. I got a cortisone shot, saw a surgeon, and a lot of home yoga. But my chiropractor took one of my stretches out of my routine, and my physical therapist took a different stretch out of my routine. They said, you're over flexible. And so my SI joints would come out, and my chiropractor asked me to stop one of the stretches a couple weeks ago. Totally helped. I can now, he said, if you're aligned and balanced and adequately stretched, you'll feel your SI joints pop back into place when you walk. And I've had that experience a couple of times in the last couple of weeks. That's new for me. And then my physical therapist took a shoulder stretch out because I have a torn rotator cuff. That's where the cortisone shot was. And he said, you're overstretching that shoulder and irritating that rotator cuff. So I can attest to what you said, Karen. That's why I bring it up, that you can stretch too much and then you end up putting things out of place, Yep.
Not all yoga is good for you all the time.
Yeah.
I'm going to tell Mickey that when he says we got to do something in the morning at training. I don't know, Mickey. Karen said that not all yoga is good for you. And this morning I need a cup of coffee and kind of relax. I don't think he'll go for that.
Hey, let's talk about skiing. So Karen, yeah, there you go. That was switch. This is why people sign in. They're like, I can fast forward through the first 25 minutes of this.
Yeah.
What got you into ski teaching, Karen? Like, what's your origin story?
Yeah. So, I was going to Holy Cross. I was supposed to be going into my junior year of college, and, my dad ran out of money. So, he goes, well, I can get you a job out of Vail teaching skiing. Because one of his good old buddies from high school, Hadley Gray, was a supervisor on ski school out there at the time. And I go, yeah, that sounds good. All right, I'll do that. I'll take a year off, So I went out there, and of course, Abraham was, on our staff, and everything was such a what a great lead in. So I taught full time there for a couple of years. And after that, long story. But yeah, so I was going to get my certification after that second year. And I got pregnant. It's a good thing. I was very much in love. Still husband. But I was sick as a dog and I couldn't go. Just couldn't go. Stuck. So didn't go. 3 years later, I went. I was back on the East Coast now. This was in the 70s. So that might have been 1980 or something like that, 81. I was back on the East Coast, going to UMass. And there was a little tiny ski area right nearby called Mount Tom. Mount Tom. It's tiny. I don't even know what the vertical drop was, but it was small. Smaller even than Blandford, believe it or not. And so I taught there, evenings, like school groups and stuff like that. And that first year I went up to Okemo and took my certification. I think it was called Associates at the time. I had Joe Wood, Ray Albert. I mean, wow, this was so fun. And so I got that. And then some tragedy struck. Some really bad things happened. I hate to say, but yeah, my son actually passed away. So rough couple of years. Didn't ski. Had another child, daughter, beautiful. 2 years later, I think it was. And as soon as she was old enough to ski, I got back into it. And I was all set to work for Tim Thompson at Pike-Out, teaching. But then the race team scooped me up because they needed a coach for the U10, I think it was, group. So I did that, and I did that in different ages for probably 10 years and went through the certification process for coaching, alpine coaching. I think I made, I know I made, but I got up to what's now the equivalent of a level 300. It was called something else then. But they kept changing the name every year for something other reason, but, and did that for a long time, coached up to U16 and Woodstock High School state champs for a couple of years. I had a really good time. But then, like I said, I got tired of the traveling and all that. And after my daughter graduated from high school, I did it for a few more years, and then I want to do something else. So I quit, and I wanted to get back into PSIA. That's where the tele came in. I'm like, you know what? I want to try something new. And like I say, I sucked really bad for quite a while, but eventually I started to figure it out. Yeah. Mickey and John Tidd. John's my neighbor, so he helped me, and here we go. What a world.
Yeah, John Tidd, what a legend, man. He is an icon in our world of tele. In cross country too. I mean, he did it all. Tidd Tech, all his designs for grooming and all that. And what a great teacher. I remember coming in with Tidd, it was Mickey and John Tidd and a few of the other folks there, but those were the two big guns. John Brady, Paul Smith. But Mr. Tidd's still around Killington, and he swings by when we're doing training. He'll take a few runs, and if we're talking too much, he's gone.
Yes, exactly. You should see him now zipping around on his super fancy schmancy mountain bike.
Oh, wow. Cool. Yeah. I love usually even at, when we're there, we've been, going down to Mount Snow now for training, but, when we're up there for definitely the infamous, what is it? It used to be called Pro Jam, now the Eastern Academy and Summit Academy. They want us to have that language that, usually he buzzes by. I have to yell to him. He'll stop by, but he's usually with his buddies tallying, which is kind of cool. He's still ripping around. And the tele world rolled right through from what I remember when you started doing the exams was, kind of bing, 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 went right through in a few years, right?
Yeah. Thanks to you and a few other people. I got my level 1. I'll never forget it. I walked into the mini academy at Mount Snow one year. I was still super raw, right? And I go in there, and Mickey's in there signing people up for taking registration or something. And he lifts up and he goes, like, crap, an old lady, And I could tell. I mean, I could just tell. So sorry, Mickey.
We got to razz him, Angela. We got one right there on him.
That one out. So I took that. I got my level 1 at that mini academy. I think I went that spring for my level 2. I took a clinic at Bromley with John Tidd, and then went for my level 2 that year. So I got the 1 and the 2 in that first year. Second year, I got the 3 with you, I think, right?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure. Yeah.
And then the year after that, I decided to try out for Deaf Team. I didn't even really know what it was. I'm just going, well, that's what to do next, I guess, right? So I was walking up the hill. It was at Sugarbush. I'm walking up the hill towards that little lodge up on the hill there, that octagon or whatever it is, mushroom lodge, they call it. And I'm walking up that hill going, what the hell am I doing here? We went up there. It had rained and everything was frozen. We skied one trail 1,000 times in 2 days. Oregon grind over and over and over again. And it was pretty cool because I think Keith Rodney was there taking it with me. Yeah. And so was Jay Nation. Yeah. So and then I made it. So that's great. Welcome to the world. What a journey it's been. And a good one.
So when you made it and you were in the club, like since then you look back, how has that influenced your personal growth, professional development? Like what's been your experience on Ed staff?
A lot of learning and growing, learning about yourself, learning about all of the things. I really got thrown right into it pretty quickly because they needed me. So I think probably that first year I made Deaf Team, I was leading a group that then called Pro Jam because they had a big split. And So there I was, and didn't really know what I was doing, and I don't think I did such a great job, and I got some comments to boot. So we do read the comments, and we do learn from them. Keep sending them in. Yeah, I got better and better. You learn those are the hardest lessons, when you don't get a good comment. Those are the hardest lessons, but those are the best lessons. That's the one you never, ever, ever forget. Yeah, so done a lot of personal growth and spiritual growth, and learning how to be. I'm kind of an introvert. Okay, if you don't know that about me, I'm definitely an introvert. So, yeah, it's a big learning experience. How to run these programs, how to believe in yourself, how to talk to people and listen to people, and all of the people skills. And that's been my journey.
Because in my eyes, you've been one of the biggest leaders on the team on the Telemark Ed staff for a lot of years now, with your skiing, and with your coaching and your people skills. And you describe yourself as an introvert, but I do know when you're around the crew, we have our little dinner at your place. Usually we used to do it. That it becomes more of an extrovert there when the drums come out and yeah.
Good times.
Yeah. And that's how I see you, Karen. I mean, I do. I mean, when I come to training, I've seen you as one of the big leaders for a lot of years now. You were the first one jumping on NTN. I know we'll talk about a little later in the podcast here when I think it was only you and Keith that really get on it to start. And but it's things like that to lead us and lead us in the coaching. You've been doing the exams, the assessments for quite a few years. What do you see your role like when you look at yourself and in that group on the team? How do you feel your role is there for you?
For many years, I was the only woman on the team, which was interesting. And I was just, one of the guys, I felt like, and it was very well accepted. I do enjoy being the first one down the hill at training. I still enjoy that. Sorry, Mickey. I believe that, at this point, I guess I'm kind of pretty well respected because of all the years and experience. There are some, for sure, yourself included, that have much more. But I don't know. That's I feel very at home and very comfortable, and I love the fact that we now have 2 more women on the ed staff.
Yeah,
and that's really awesome. And I believe I can be some sort of a mentor there in that field. And we're gonna work on our buddy Shannon this year and get him out there trying for the Eastern team, and that's what we do. We work together.
Yeah, we have Adele on the team, and Adele's been there for a few years now. And Liz, I think Liz will be 3rd or 4th year with us. I think 3rd coming up, if I count right, which is awesome. And I felt it was really cool because I had all 3 of you in training in my group on one of the days last year, which was super fun to have all the ladies skiing in one group. I think that was cool, which you have been, because, since Shelly went west, and you came on the team, that was there wasn't even, I don't think there was was it an overlap there? I don't think so.
Yeah, she was there the first year I made dev team. She was still.
Yeah. So it was like she's here and then boom, gone. And then Karen's hanging with the guys. And Angelo, she is good at being the first one down the hill, whether it's first thing in the morning or last thing in the afternoon.
Guys, need those videos at training.
You know what she's also very good at, Dave?
What's that?
I totally have no problem believing she's the first one down the hill, but I also will add to the other pieces of what we do. She's very good at instilling confidence in people quietly when they're nervous. And I'm talking specifically, Karen, last year when I was at my tele exam, and you just had, I don't recall exactly what it was. People don't remember what you say, right? Just how you make them feel. And I just remember you coming over, making a point to come over quietly, confidence inducing, couple of bullet points there and walked away. It was much appreciated, but that doesn't come out of nowhere. That comes out of being able to observe where people are and empathize with what's going on with them right now. And it's a heavy duty thing to put yourself out there. And I do appreciate that, Karen. If I didn't say thank you then, I want to say thank you now, because it was well received.
I really appreciate that, Angelo. And, yeah, I guess, sometimes we actually do a little better than we think we're doing in certain areas. I want to congratulate you. That was a big achievement to put yourself out there and get your level 3. Wow. Way to go.
Especially at this age. I appreciate that. And hopefully I'm not done. Yeah. So I'll see again at some stuff. Yeah.
Yeah. And she's great at experimenting and exploring, Angela. I mean, she was, as I mentioned earlier, Keith was, I think, the only other person, the both of you went on that gear on the NTN new system. And this is quite a few years ago. This is when it's just really coming out, and you guys committed to it. And a lot of us holdouts, I was hanging back there with Bruce and the guys in the back going, oh God, this is going to hurt. How much money do I have to spend on this stuff? But it was great. And I have to say that as the equipment evolved into what we have now, have for a while, I watched your skiing come along on that stuff and how you adapted to it. And it definitely pushed me going, okay, it's time. And what was that evolution? I mean, what is that? You're very good at just saying, I'm going to try this, go with it. I'm going to make it work. I'm going to adapt to it. And you committed to it.
Yeah, I had to commit to it. It's, I think one of the hardest things with making the switch over is the boots.
Yeah.
The boots are going to fit differently, and they're going to, I found for me, especially since I'm in a 23.5, right? So, the bellows of the boot was too freaking far forward. You know what I mean? So, of course, I'm going to be tippy-toeing around for a little while. Trying to figure out how to get the ski to bend. So that was the hardest thing. And I didn't have much problem. I started with the free ride, the Rotobello free ride, which, I didn't have too much problem with the binding once I figured out where the bellows flex was and how to make that happen. So that was the hardest thing. I also had to play around with the cuff of the boot, and I actually had to put a different shim, I don't even know what it's called, but in the back, where the walk mode is, and you have your full lean adjustment holes. I had to put a different one in there from an AT boot so that I could get a little more upright and it wasn't, way knee forward like a lot of women are in ski boots. Once I got that figured out, got my body stacked the way it's supposed to be, then I didn't really think that the NTN was much different, but you say you saw a difference of evolution.
Well, it was the power. It was the power on the edge. It wasn't just the edge control in terms of like grip. It was the ability to do things more powerfully through the middle part of the turn. That it was a little racy, which was your background and Keith's, and that's what I saw it. But I saw, definitely more power, things that you were able to do in that gear that, might have, well, the rest of us were struggling a little bit on our 75 millimeter and going, okay, I got to keep up. She's already kicked my butt. I need some advantage here. But yeah, it was a good model. I felt it was a good model that you worked on it, stayed with it. You played with skis too. It's neat that, cause I think that helps when people are asking you questions about what gear to be on, what boots, like you're talking about how you had to modify your boots. I think I won't be modifying the boots in that way where you are for some of the women that we don't have a ton of women on the staff. So it's great to have that knowledge base on there when people are asking, because then I can ask you, Karen, this lady asked me and I have no idea because I can't change it that way. It's super good to have that diversity to be able to have that information.
And then when I got my daughter on an NTN setup out in New Mexico, she went out and she couldn't believe how uncomfortable she was and thought maybe she just wasted $1,000. But all I had to do was move the boot cup into a more upright, and then off she went. So, yeah.
Yeah, we don't have many choices for boots. It's not like Alpine and all the companies and the different ones. I mean, we've got really two main ones, and with Scarpa and Crispy, and then we've got the Scott boot. But other than that, that's pretty much it if we're going NTN. And Angelo knew that when he chose his.
Yeah, I had an early experience with Tele, like in the late 90s. It went really badly. I think that was leather boots, but by the time I circled back and committed some effort into learning it, I was on NTN straight out of the gate. So that's all I've really experienced. I feel a bit lost in those conversations when you guys are talking about like 75 millimeter versus NTN, but it's cool to get the history. But and I wouldn't mind going out on some of that gear, but it just sounds like, coming from Alpine, it makes more sense to go right into NTN. And really that's kind of that's the bigger option now, right? It's easier to find than 75 millimeter. Karen, what do you look for in gear generally? And I mean skis, boots, and poles. We don't talk about poles often enough, but I'm very purposeful in the poles I use. I suspect you guys are too. Like when you're looking at the catalog, what's going through your head to make you pick something?
Well, to talk about poles for a second, you want something nice and easy. I have to use the Lakey clip-ons because I got all this arthritis with my thumb. That's a pickleball injury, right? But I got all this arthritis in my hands now from everything I do is holding on, paddleboard, skiing, gardening, So I use the Lakeys, and I go for a nice lightweight pole. I'm really into adjustable poles because, you want them shorter in bumps, you want them longer if you do any skinning at all. But I found actually for teaching, it is wonderful to have adjustable poles because everybody's poles are too long, right? So you try these, and then you're skiing around with your poles holding them in the middle like this while you're teaching the lesson. But yeah, so poles are important. And I like a good adjustable pole, except for when I'm racing.
How about skis and boots? Like, what do you buy?
Yeah, I fit into a Scarpa. I used to fit better in the Garmont, but I have made myself fit into a Scarpa, and Crispies don't fit. So there you go. I've been in the comp boot. I've been in the pro boot. I go back and forth. I like them both for different reasons. I like the stiffness of the cuff of the comp, but I like the softness of the bellows of the pro. So there I am. I haven't tried the new ones that came out last year yet. So I think I got one more year on these boots that I'm in right now, and I'm on the pro right now, which is soft and mushy when it's warm out, but it's okay when it's cold.
Mm-hmm.
For skis, I like the narrow skis. I prefer a narrower waisted ski. They're just so much fun. I have the exact same setup. That's why I put them there so you can see. I've got the exact same setup, Tele and Alpine. Mm-hmm. Two of each. I have got a powder ski, but I don't get to use it here very much. And then that silly one on the end is my GS race ski that I bought. I got a good deal on it, and it's 21 meter, go fast, big turn. But my favorite everyday ski is that little 70 millimeter waist, softer tip because I like bumps. And I like to car. So that's what I like. I use my other ones when there's, 6 inches or more, 88s.
When does that happen? It never happens here. No, sorry.
It's on race day. Every race.
All right.
Tuesday.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah. What do you love about telemark skiing?
I love that it's challenging. I love that it's the boots are more comfortable. I could drive to the mountain in my boots. I love that you're kind of always on the edge of disaster. I like that. So you have to be careful. I love how it makes you really dial in your core balance. You dial that in. I'll never forget the first time I pushed out of the starting gate on my telegear. I fell flat on my face, right? Or hit a patch of sticky snow in the springtime, right on your face. So, I love that it demands the best of you. And I also really enjoy the fact that everything we're doing, not everything, but take away the lead change, right? We're doing the same stuff. Mm-hmm. It's just a little more challenging on the telegear. So when you take the telegear off and get a hair dryer and warm up your alpine boots and put them on, you can do some pretty good stuff, right? So your alpine skiing gets a lot better. They sold on that.
So what kind of programs are you running at Killington this year? I'm not sure if you still used to do a tele-Pico thing, but I think you're doing that at Killington now, right?
Yeah, I used to do some group lessons over at Pico. That went by the wayside several years ago. But I do a seasonal program at Killington on Saturdays. It's an all-day adult thing. And I did it for probably 7 or 8 years before I started Telemark group. And I've had like the same people every Saturday for like 10 years now. So it's really fun. It's not, unfortunately, it's not growing as much as I would like it to. It's just the way it is. But it managed to survive, and it's a great thing. So to see these people who could just barely get down a blue square are now really good telemark skiers, be awesome. I do a lot of privates at Killington. Have some regular clients that they do almost every other week and stuff like that. And the occasional drop in on one of them telly. But some ski shops will recommend me. I've been around a long time, so they know me. And Peak Performance is a shop on the road that sells telemark gear, and they've been sending people my way. So I think, it's funny that there aren't a lot of telemark lessons, it's per se, at most snow sports schools, but I think I teach probably at least 50% telemark.
That's awesome.
Yeah, that's higher than I would have guessed. That's great.
Yeah. That's because she's good.
Well, sure. What are there some PSIA events you typically run in a season? Like, do they call on you for some go-tos?
Yeah, I'm doing what I know for sure I'm doing this year that I've been doing for over 10 years now is a women's clinic at Pico. Early February. It's early February. I think it's the first week of February. That's a 2-day event. I've got a Friday at Killington at the end of January, which last year I had 2 alpine people join the group, and that was fun too. So, what else am I doing? Looks like I'm on the schedule for Eastern Academy this year. And so when's that? December 15th, something like that week.
Mm-hmm.
And then maybe an assessment in the spring. We'll see. Don't know what else.
And you mentioned your stuff at Killington, but get a hold of Killington ski and snowboard school, and they can learn how to tele from you or alpine, and get some tele lessons. Find out about your Saturday group. See if that can grow a little bit. But definitely some fun times. I hear some great stuff. Absolutely about that going on. There's always, I mean, I've been over there, like I'll be over there doing a couple events different times during the year other than Eastern Academy. And usually I'll see you out on your tele gear. I see you more the times I'm there, Angela, I see her on her tele gear out there in her uniform more than the alpine. It just happened to be that way, but I can see that with the 50% of your time teaching tele. That's awesome. I don't doubt that at all. And, I'm planning on the Pico training day. So I don't know if I'm hoping Mickey has that on yours. I don't know who's going to be leading that, but that's that one. I think it's in January, like second week in January. And I'm just curious, like, if Karen Dalury is leading that, what are we going to work on? What should we do out there with the tele crew?
I don't know if I'm leading it or not. I have a feeling that, somebody else might be asked this year because I did do it last year, but I'll definitely go one way or another. And if I were leading it, it would definitely be like, your choice. I'd contact everyone who's signing up and say, hey, what do you guys want to do? Let's do what you want to do. It's about you, not me, right?
There you go, Angelo. There's the ultimate pro at that whole collaboration, and meet them where they are right there, buddy.
Well, she knows how good she's in, and she's seen you, so that seems like the logical approach.
She already knows what she's going to do with me, man. I got to keep up with her first because she's at the bottom first.
You can't pick anything that he doesn't need help in. But this isn't about Dave. This is about you. What's your focus this year going into it? People wise, teaching wise, and performance wise. What's in your head right now for you?
What was first? People wise. I get better at developing trust more quickly. I don't know if you know this, but some people find me scary. I was born on Halloween, but build trust. Teaching wise, again, listen, meet them where they are. You know, all the things, all the things. I love these things. I really do. I didn't love them initially, but I love them now. Still don't like all the boxes, but
it's a lot of boxes on that sheet.
Fewer boxes this year.
I've heard that. It's like, and then performance wise, personally, I want to get better at getting more done at the top of the turn. I like to put a lot of little fancy schmancy stuff in at the bottom of the turn, and want to get faster on the base course. So that's how I'm going to do it. And that's pretty much it, Dave. You could probably help me with the rest of that.
Well, I got to catch up with you first. I'm too far behind to see. No, one of my questions I want to ask is, what's your best day on snow? Like, if you had your dream day, what are you skiing on? What's the surface? What mountain are you at? You know, what's it like? What's that bluebird? Maybe it's snowing. I don't know. Some people say it's snowing in Israel. They don't like the bluebird day. They want snowing all day.
Yeah. I like it all. And I even like the really terrible. I really like the terrible stuff. My best day on snow ever, I gotta tell you, it was pretty shitty skiing. It was May Day at Killington. They used to have a race on May 1st every year. It was a pre-race. Everybody showed up because you get free ticket to ski the next year. And it's like a 10-gate course that they set wherever they can find a decent patch of snow. And it was on Superstar. I think it was in the middle of Superstar on the meadows, or what do we call that. And I'm on my tele gear. And it was a really slushy day. It was raining, the whole 9 yards. I push out of the starting gate, and I'm going like, well, it was a pretty good run, you know. And hand timer, you gotta love that. Hand timing. I won. I won. I won overall. Like, how does that even happen? I'm a 60-year-old lady on Telemark, you know? It was awesome. So, it's the most fun I ever had, you know? Finally, I did something good. Yeah.
I love it. I love it. And you have been doing the assessments. You've been doing the tele assessments for a lot of years now. That you've been one of the lead people there. You know, we only in the East we have it pretty much once. And Angelo, 2 years ago, you were like, I can't do those. I think it was you couldn't do those dates, wasn't it? The year before?
It was 3 years ago, I think, because I did level 2 and level 3 consecutively.
I know people get that because it pretty much happens once, and Karen's been leading a lot of those with the crew. So what's your advice? Like, do you have any specific advice for some folks getting ready for the tele assessments this year? What you would recommend their process and getting ready?
Yeah. You know, it depends. There's like two kinds of people out there. Those are the kind of people that won't go unless they're ready. And then the people that go even if they're not ready because they think they're going to learn something, you know? And you will learn something, but I think you're going to learn a lot more at our other events, right? Our training events. So go to them. They're good. Learn from them. Mm-hmm. Find out what you can. That's just my advice. I don't like to go like Dale, but if it doesn't bother you, okay. But you could use your money, I think, a little better by preparing with our education.
Yeah. And Angela, you had some good thoughts. I mean, we're not the Telemark in the East isn't doing it dramatically. We're going by the UAF. We have the national standards. You know, everything's still aligning a little bit, but there's a different vibe there, isn't there? You know, you've been through the level 2 and the level 3, very recently level 3 last year. It's a different vibe, isn't it?
Do you mean like Alpine to Tele?
Yeah, and I don't mean it negatively. I mean it's just discipline-wise. I guarantee if I went for a snowboard, there'd be a different vibe, and I kind of like that. I hope that vibe stays because to me, it's not the process that it's different. That there's a vibe and it's discipline.
Oh yeah, there was completely different vibe, discipline to discipline. And of course, I think it's reducing though as time goes on because more people are doing more disciplines. So there's more overlap than there's ever been. But yeah, certainly overall, I think it's safe to say that the vibe is different. You see it at the academies, like at the national academies, the crews hang together, and even the marketing is a little bit different to try to be respectful of the cultural differences among the disciplines. But I like tele. It's a little bit. It's more. It's a little more grassroots still, which I think is very, very important to, especially as we become more and more corporate. I feel like tele is the last bastion to hold on to authentic history of the disciplines, and the crowd's a little more creepy Addams Family than Alpine events. I gravitate to that, and you know, it's the weird kids. It's the kids and the weird kids at the one lunch table. That's the tele crew, and I mean that in the best possible way. You know what I mean? Yeah. And Karen, when you started out, you said there are two different kinds of people. I thought you were going a different direction. I just recently was reacquainted with a little chestnut. There are two kinds of people in this world. Avoid them both.
Avoid them both. Oh, God. I love it. It's cool. Super cool. But it's been fun. I hope we get to chat again. Maybe we do it during the season. I'm a little bummed for myself because we have training at the same time, Alpine and Tele. So I will get to see you guys. I'm not sure if I'm going to get to free the heel. Hopefully I do a little bit, but we'll see. We'll definitely be same resort. But when we're at the same place, we'll see. I love to have it separate because I'm like, I've done I don't know if I did it last year, but we had the little round table with Mickey and Jim Shaw and Rodney did a podcast on the fly down there. I was hoping to do like a round robin, have each of the staff members come in and do like a 2 or 3 minute kind of answer a question on the road podcast, but we'll have to see if that can happen with training together. It's always tough, but yeah, that's.
But I'll see you at Pico.
That's why I've got that on because I'll be at Mount Snow for our joint training, and then I definitely have that Pico day on there because I got to have one full day of training. I'll be out at Rocky, but I want an Eastern day. And and back to the exam thing for me, Angela, it's I love I guess Mickey calls it the holistic approach, and the tele assessment, we really look at the whole teaching persona, like trees, steeps, bumps, and it's different in that, like, we're in the trees a bunch if we have snow. Or alpine so scared of the trees, like if you even get close to the edge of the trail, we get in trouble. Never mind going in the woods. But there's I think I don't know, correct me if I'm wrong, I love some of the stuff that's coming from our training, even this year, the alignment training, like looking at how Matt Boyd talked about in the training video about how things are, certain scores, they blend, or, you have to look, sometimes when you're looking at one, there's pieces, the other one, they're not so segmented. They are, but they're not. And you can look more at the bigger picture, which I think I felt being in the tele world has done very well.
Yeah, great. Like, yeah, one observable behavior can check different boxes on that form. I think that's what you're referring to.
Yeah.
And the way to prepare, I think, is just is to take the 30,000 foot approach. When you think of people skills, it's about the real litmus test is, am I connecting with this group in front of me? If you answer yes to that and it's authentic, you don't have to worry about checking boxes is contrived. Connecting with people is real. When it comes to the teaching standards, it's the 30,000 foot litmus test is learning happening. Is that what's going on? If the answer is yes, those boxes will check themselves. It's worry about the big picture. And with technical performance, like, you need to be accurate in your demos. That's not us torturing people. That's because our demos are nonverbal communication to our students. We want to make sure that we show them what we're saying to them. And even better, if you can not say it at all and just show them, that would be perfect world. But the 30,000 foot view of technical performance should be like, am I using this gear the way it was designed? Like, would the engineers who built it watch me perform on it and like go, yeah, that's it? The answer to that is yes. Body performance isn't as relevant as the gear performance. So it's about understanding the tool and then using it the way the engineers designed it. I think if you go about exam prep with those big picture, I know it's easy to look at the boxes, but back up from that and look at the big picture. Do these people trust you? Are they learning something from you? And are you given an accurate demo for the way that gear was designed? If you answer yes to those three, I think the boxes check themselves.
Yeah. And that's what's fun, man. When we ski together, Karen, when we do our assessments in tele, and it's really that bigger picture we start from. And it's fun. It's super cool when we get out there and go, hey, let's go into the trees and see what we can do, and do different things. It's super fun. Talk a little bit. I know when you take a tele person in the trees, what are some of the fun things you do that they're like, I've never tried this before?
It's funny. I think that I feel safer in the trees on my tele gear than I do on my alpine gear, because I can go slower. I can turn in place, without moving forward or hopping around. And so I like to instill that, people like, look what you can do. What do you call it? Like a spin in place. I forget what you call it, but that's a really cool skill that we can do. You can't really up here.
Yeah. There's just fun stuff. When we free that heel, it's a freedom of movement and fun stuff. And it's very, I mean, people have asked me in the past of when someone goes to Tele, is the skiing standard as high? And I said, in some ways it's higher. In some ways, I think it might be lower. Yeah, they've got to carve, but they might not have to carve to the level we go anal and alpine, because that's the big thing in alpine. We're in Tele when they can carve a little bit, but they can go through the trees and do some versatile, different stuff. We really look at that, and I think that's that holistic, bigger picture kind of thing that I see. But
yeah, we never lose that.
No, I hope we don't, because I think that's what we've been chatting in our little Tele bubble, and Mickey and Rodney, those guys in the task forces have been fighting for that's where, Angela, I think some of the things Matt was talking about really bring it into more of a holistic Tele almost, that it's not each individual one by itself, that they're connected at some times, depending on what you're looking at.
Well, and that if you use that litmus test again based on what you guys just said, were you talking about whirlybirds, Karen, or pirouettes or something like that with the spinning?
No, it's on that. What's the saucer? You're on that little, when you get on the saucer that you'd slide on, the round ones, that kind of thing.
Okay, yeah. Well, but what I was going to say was the gear. Oh yeah. So the gear's designed to skid and go sideways too. That's just an aspect of using it. When it's got longitudinal stiffness in it, so it doesn't flap in the breeze. That's true in a carve, and that's true in a side. So when I say use the design of the gear, that's in every direction you can use it, because they go backwards, forwards, and sideways. And so that again just becomes part of the gear. And if you're in trees, and carving can be a complete detriment to your life if you're trying to carve in the trees, you have to have a skid. That's part of the spiel,
We've had some icy trainings where all we could do was skid. I remember one year at Pico, it was like an ice rink. Oh my God. Yeah.
Yep.
Well, Karen, I want to thank you so much. And it's been a blast. It always is. I always love, that's why I love going to Tele training. I get to see the crew, we get to see you, hang out, make some turns. So all we didn't get to do today was we get to talk about skiing, but didn't get to go turning, but hopefully we will soon. And I hope folks out there that want to improve their Tele skiing, they're over there near Killington, or they want to drive, go see Karen, get a hold of the school over there. You are definitely on the gear a ton, and killer coach on Tele and alpine. Can't let that alpine go. People want that too, because you're up there. But we're chatting a little Tele today. But thanks a lot for being here, and I absolutely have a super fun time being on the team with you.
Thank you. Really enjoy it too. And you've been always one of my favorite guys to ski with on the team. Can't wait to ski with you, Angelo. Anyway,
challenge accepted.
I want to thank you guys for doing this. I love that you made this into a conversation, not just me talking all the time. Thank you so much. That was great. Really good hearing. I love your litmus test.
I stole that, but I'll pass it along to the smart people who made it up.
Cool. Hey, everybody out there, it's getting close to the season. It's almost time to go skiing. Get those skis tuned up, get yourself in shape. You still got a couple weeks to do something. At least get off the couch and walk to the fridge and get another drink so you can listen to another episode. But thanks, everybody. This has been The Fall Line with Chaos and Company.
Thank you.